Hey friends, before we dive into this week's episode, just a heads up. Our podcast talks about suicide, sexual abuse, and other trauma, and some of what you hear may be triggering, so please listen with care. This is The Survivors, real stories, raw conversations, and the truth about what it means to keep going after the hardest things. We're so glad you're here. Let's keep surviving together.
The countdown thing, right?
It just did.
Did it?
We're live.
Okay. I didn't see it.
Is it gonna do the countdown thing? I love it. You're so dialed in today. This is fantastic. We're off to a great start.
I mean, if that just doesn't like perfectly cap what we're about to talk about, which is perimenopause and postmenopause, and so there's perimenopause, there's menopause, and then there's postmenopause.
Mm-hmm. I'm raising my hand really high right now for everybody who's listening.
Are you in postmenopause?
Sweetheart, I'm like approaching 60. So yeah, that's where I live right now.
Okay.
That's my hell is right now.
Okay. So I'm in perimenopause now, just coming into it. And I don't have a uterus, so it's going to be a lot harder for me to track. I had a hysterectomy about 3.5 years ago.
Okay.
3.5 years ago. And so, we're going to dive in and talk about it. My experience just coming into it, where you're at. There's a 17-year age gap for us. So I feel like we've got a lot to discuss.
We do.
Yeah. So the biggest thing, we all hear about hot flashes, and that's the number one thing we're talking about here. But we're learning, and there has been so much research coming out, I would say, in just the last 5 years about perimenopause and the importance of, if you tackle it beforehand, it sets you up for greater success and survivability as you get into menopause and postmenopause. In fact, I decided to get on hormone replacement therapy, aka HRT.
Yeah,
she's gonna slap me on a patch.
It's so funny that we're having this conversation today, because Dave and I were just talking about it. He's like, "Babe, I know you've said you're just feeling off. Maybe go back on." I tried hormones. I tried HRT. I think you and I talked about it. I tried HRT last summer, and I was on it. And I have to be really honest with you, I didn't really see it move the needle all that much. So he said to me today, "You want to help doing some research? Do you want me to look for something else that might be better?" I said, "Yeah, I'm kind of on the hunt now, just to see what else might be better or affect me in a different way." But I know HRT.
Well, so I thought it was just I have struggled with my sleep since my kids were basically born. I, was a really good sleeper before that. And so I just figured that I didn't realize it was just a part of perimenopause.
There it is. Anything that goes wrong today in this recording, we attribute to menopause and perimenopause.
But I had realized several months ago, I was waking up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning and could not go back to sleep, no matter what I tried. And it was so annoying. I dealt with brain fog. That's actually due to post-traumatic stress and also CPTSD. So brain fog is just a part of my life, but that is also an indicator of perimenopause. So, the main things that we're talking about, aside from the hot flashes, I wanted to pull it up. So here's some symptoms that nobody warns about and nobody talks about.
Can I ask you one favor? Before you give me that list, I want to make it clear, and I think you probably agree, that before anybody really starts listening to this conversation, there are probably men out there who are like, "Okay, click stop. This is not a conversation for me." Like, hang on, slow your roll. Don't do anything yet. Don't go anywhere yet. This episode, if you're thinking there's no way this applies to me, if you are a partner of a woman, married to a woman, you work with a woman, you live with a woman, you are a woman, you're supporting a woman. Yes, friends, this conversation is 1,000% for you as well. So hang in there. The conversation matters. Okay, continue.
If you know a woman, you should listen.
If you have ever seen a woman, stick around.
Right. So the hot flashes we know about: brain fog, sleep disorders, anxiety, rage, depression, heart palpitations, joint pain. Hello. Frozen shoulder. What?
That's so random.
No, it's for real. Like, my shoulders have been bugging me. the one that I found the most interesting that I've seen so many women on social media talk about is the itchy ear. Have you had that? Where your inner ear just itches and you can't get in there and get at it?
Let me tell you something about the inner ear itchiness. I thought I was on a planet in a solar system all by myself, because until you just said that that was a thing, like I, of course, do the same research that you do, that everybody else does, because we live in this world where it's so accessible and we can always just, if you're curious about something, go online, find out. So I've done the same thing everybody's done, which is to look all these things up and seen all the symptoms and signs and signals that you just rattled off. I have never heard of that itchy ear issue in relation to menopause or perimenopause. And yet my goddamn ear is my left ear is like, you just validated me. I love you so much. You just validated every itch I ever scratched in my ear. Thank you.
It's too funny.
I feel so seen.
You're like, I'm not crazy. It's a wonderful thing when you don't feel like you're crazy.
Yeah.
If anybody's wondering, I'm sorry, I have an inappropriate reaction to funny things. I cry. It's like laughing and crying go hand in hand for me.
My God.
So here's another thing that has hit me is Lord. I keep getting I'm getting my merds mixed up real bad.
Oh my God. It's a disaster, but I really feel great about the episode so far. I think if anybody's still here, it's a miracle. Let's keep going.
All right. Decreased stress tolerance.
Sure.
I used to be able to handle stress like nobody's business.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I kept attributing all my symptoms to all the death that I've had in my life and all the trauma that I've had just in the last 3-4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those are contributing factors, but it's actually perimenopause, digestive changes, urinary incontinence, and then, of course, decreased libido.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing, is I thought women had hit their sexual prime in their late 30s.
We're not in our late 30s anymore, dear. Did you also forget how old you are?
I'm 41 years old.
I know exactly how old you are. I just want to make sure you know how old you are.
I know, but I didn't experience that. I think I hit my sexual prime when I was in my 20s.
Okay. Hey, look, everybody is different. Everybody is different, those glory days.
I will tell you guys, right? So one thing I don't think Lisa is incredibly comfortable about talking about openly, as I probably am, is probably sex.
No, why? You and I have talked plenty about sex.
Not publicly on the pod.
Well, no, because this is a family show. So
whose children are listening?
I don't know. I'm just
mine aren't.
Look, I'm just pulling things out of my ass right now. So
all right.
Hey, I am full disclosure happy to talk about any kind of sex you want to talk about. But I feel like easy now. I feel like we should have that be a separate dedicated episode. So
okay,
right, we're back.
So also, and as I've clearly shown here, other studies have consistently shown that your verbal memory, word finding, attention, processing speed, and then your active working memory. Raise your hand if you walked into a room, you know what you were in there for, but the second you got in there, you're like, why did I just walk into this room? Or you're talking to somebody and you're like, oh, hey, by the way, and they stop and look at you and you're like,
got nothing. 50 times a day. Both of those things, 50 times a day. It's maddening.
Is so annoying. Well, and here's the thing too, is I experienced this, 3 years ago when I had, my little mock stroke kind of thing, where the word finding, and that is actively when you know the word.
Yeah.
But you can't say, one of them is bacon. I couldn't say the word bacon. It's so frustrating.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing.
I know. It's annoying. So here's the thing.
I actually am.
And so I was talking to my best friend while I was on vacation a couple weeks ago. She's 6 months older than I am. And she had mentioned that she got on HRT, low dose HRT. She said she was sleeping better and she had been struggling tremendously with low back pain, getting shots in her back and steroid shots, because she had been struggling with back pain for years. No longer. She got on HRT and she's great. I was like, well, I'll be damned. I'm tired of feeling like a trash panda.
Yeah, I know. I know. And honestly, we have so many things out there in the world right now that are available to us. And if one thing doesn't work, you just go after another and another and another. And it's time consuming and it's painstaking and it can be frustrating as hell and take forever. But we have options, and what works for me might not work for you and vice versa. But I think for the most part, there's enough out there in the world to be able to help those of us with our issues one way or another. And it's a matter of finding it, which is hard. But, I think the juice is worth the squeeze in this
Absolutely.
case. You know what I mean? Just put in the time and effort, which is why it's like the first round last year of HRT for me, did I tell you the weird thing that happened to me? And if anybody's listening and this has happened to you, I would love you to reach out and just connect with me and let me know that this happened to you. So I don't remember if I told you this or not, that last year when I went on HRT, like I said, didn't really feel any significant changes one way or the other, except for the fact. So I wear contact lenses, and the glasses that you see on right now are like just blue light glasses, but I typically wear contacts because I'm nearsighted. So I have trouble seeing things far away. And I was on HRT for, I don't know, like 3-4 weeks. And all of a sudden one night we're in bed and we're watching the news. And I always had take off my contacts at night before I get into bed. And then I have my little glasses on my nightstand so I can watch TV because it's just far enough away that it's fuzzy if I don't have glasses on. So I'm sitting there and I have my glasses on, I'm watching TV and Dave's looking over at me and he's like, "What is with you? Why are you squinting like that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I can't see the TV clearly. What the hell's going on? Like, this is so weird." And I'm like, glasses on, glasses off, up, down, up, down. And finally I take off my glasses and I realize my glasses are making the TV blurry. I take them off with no contacts in my eyes and I can see the TV crystal clear.
What?
And I'm like, what the effing hell? Like, such a random, unexpected thing. And so, of course, Dave does what Dave does, which is to, he's going to Google it and he's going to figure it out. He's going to find this whole community of people that have had the same thing. It was like crickets. Nobody out there had that same experience. And yet here I am, all of a sudden I can drive at night without contacts and and like 20/20 vision, like I'm 17 and a half years old. It's crazy. And I have not worn contact lenses since.
But you're not HRT.
I am not on HRT, and I haven't been on HRT for probably like 8 months, 9 months. But
how long were you on it previously?
I don't know. Probably 6-9 months.
Okay.
Like enough for it to be adjusted in my body and acclimated.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know.
And after that long, you didn't feel like it had enough of an impact to continue staying on it, despite being able to see better.
Yeah, right. That was the only thing that made me reluctant to give it up. But I thought, okay, let me just, I want to see if it's a fluke. And I did get off of it because, it's not, these things are generally not covered by insurance. The one that I got was a bioidentical HRT. It was not covered, so it was out of pocket, and it's it's a few $100s a month, which is definitely, if it's not moving your needle up or down in any way, I'm not going to continue to do it.
Right.
So I didn't continue to do it, and just wanted to see if maybe diet or different exercises or meditation or some other things that I had been trying would make another difference. So I'm definitely going to go back and try something else. But yeah, the eyesight thing kind of stayed positive. So I'm like,
I'm
okay.
glad to hear it.
Well, thank you. I mean, so yeah, we'll see what happens. But if anybody out there had that issue, I am dying to meet you and have a conversation with you so that we can
know that you're not alone.
Compare notes. Yeah, that we're not alone. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I got in touch with my PCP and they're like, "No, we got to refer you to OB." Well, I don't have a uterus. I don't need to go to OB anymore.
Valid
of course,
point.
It's a referral. You got to wait weeks or months. And I was like, F this noise. So, scrolling the socials and I came across a telehealth company, which I'm not going to say their name. If they work out great, maybe we can do a partnership with them.
That would be.
I was able to get an appointment within 48 hours.
Oh, that's great.
Had a 15-minute conversation with her. One of the things that she shared with me that was absolutely shocking, and I had absolutely no idea, is that getting on HRT, specifically estrogen, dramatically reduces your chances for breast cancer and dementia. I was like, come again?
Well, that's a big X in the positive category.
I agree.
Great.
And again, there's so much research coming out because apparently from basically 2000 2020, there was very little research being done in the perimenopause, menopause world. And a lot of it had been based on like studies on in men. Like what? So, it's absolutely astounding, what they're finding out now. And, we're just continuing to learn more. And so she told me, look, we're going to put you on a super low dose. Again, since you don't have a uterus, we don't need to put you on progesterone.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's just going to put me on a super low dose. We're going to check my levels again in 4 weeks. And she's like, we're just going to continue to check you every 4 weeks until we get it dialed in. And one thing she did stress is it affects everybody differently.
Absolutely.
There are very few people that with all the same symptoms. And so she's like, we have to go on a case-by-case basis. And rather than looking at labs, which is what your PCP does, they go based on how you feel.
That's so interesting because there's such controversy when you read about this in the media. How many women are so frustrated? And this is a longstanding issue that women are so frustrated because they go to their GP and they're saying, I have X, Y, Z, PDQ, all these symptoms, all these issues. And it's like PCPs are refusing to acknowledge that there could be any tie-in to perimenopause or menopause. And you know what else I learned? And I believe it was my own PC who told me this, that in medical school, when they're going to medical school, there's like a 48-hour, no more than like a 2 days worth of education that they're given in their entire medical training devoted to perimenopause and menopause. It's almost non-existent.
Yeah, even for OBs, that's their studies, their practices in women, and they got very, very little training in hormone replacement therapy and all the things. Very little training. And, it's, again, that maybe just emphasizes the fact that medical practice is more geared towards men. And how many, you would be shocked at how many studies that were done in the 50s to into the 70s that all this research was done based off of men. And they were using it for women. And so, I do have a lot of hope that we're finding out a lot and there's hope for us as we come into the, a new age of women demanding better for themselves.
Well, I
but
hope
also,
so.
It made me sad because so many women were thrown into mental institutions because they were going through menopause or perimenopause and they were deemed crazy and thrown in a mental institution.
Yeah.
And that
it's so widely misunderstood, and it's a population that is so clearly underserved. And it's unfortunate because we're all struggling with so many of the same symptoms that are very directly related to this massive shift in our bodies that affects everything, every system, every function. And yet the medical profession is never sitting you down and asking you relevant questions about that in the way that they're attributing it to anything but that, which is maddening. So
absolutely. I mean, and the weight gain and, the random cravings that you have, sometimes I have cravings late at night and I'm just like, again, thinking that that's my food addiction calling out, but I also am on a GLP-1, so it helps control that. But still, it felt like I was having these weird, odd cravings, just in the last 6 months. It's just like something really has shifted in my body. And so I felt like, okay, I've got to look at this more deeply. And, and I didn't even consider it until I talked to my best friend a few weeks ago, and I was like, okay, there's got to be something there. So my patch is supposed to arrive today. I'm very excited.
Well, mazel tov.
Bi-weekly patch. And so we'll have to do a follow-up episode because you're going to get on HRT as well, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So we are 1,000% redoing this episode, part 2, in
like 6 months.
Like the fall or in the
Okay.
winter, and kind of do a pulse check and see where we're at and how it helped. And maybe at that point, maybe we'll both be so thrilled that we'll have incredible sponsorships with all of these HRT producers, and then it'll be HRT for everybody at a crazy discount. from the survivors.
And I'm happy to say that the telehealth company that I found was actually in network for my insurance, and they covered the medication 100%. I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. So I'm very happy about that because GLP-1 is not, as you say, some medications are out of pocket several $100s. And, I don't want to talk about GLP-1 too much, but I, again, was on vacation and I forgot to pack my dose. And so a week without it, and I gained 5 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so for me, it works. Yeah. And I'm very happy for it. I was looking at pictures of myself, when I was over 300 pounds and wow.
Yeah.
Big, huge change. And I know that I feel better. But again, it's all about we're trying to get to the best versions of ourselves. And I've had a hard time, navigating, okay, is it my trauma speaking or is it hormones? I've been struggling with like trying to find myself or feeling overstimulated and just crying because I couldn't go to sleep. And then at the same time, there's rage and then emotional numbness. I'm just all over the place.
Looking for mental health resources that actually fit who you are and where you come from? Then you need to check out the HelpHUB. It's not another generic wellness site. It's a free, inclusive online platform built for real people living real lives. People managing stress, anxiety, depression, trauma and abuse, grief or suicide loss. At the HelpHUB, you'll find the resources, tools, treatment options, and trauma-informed content you need in the moment without having to dig through endless tabs or start from scratch. It's your place to land, to take a breath, and to find exactly what you need when you need it most. Visit thehelphub.co, where the help you need is just a click away.
Yeah. And apparently this can be contributed to perimenopause.
Absolutely. And I'm sure in your case, in my case, in everyone's case, it's a combination of everything. I mean, look, you can be perfectly grounded in your life and not dealing with any mental health issues or any trauma responses and still be absolutely plagued by perimenopause or menopause or your body changing. And it's so difficult. I mean, every single or just about every single symptom that you rattled off since we started recording, I've got it. I've got them all. I've got the brain fog. I just was sitting in the car with Dave this morning. We went out for coffee and I was talking to him about something. I couldn't tell you what it is, but it was not something that you would get emotional about. And all of a sudden, I just became completely overwhelmed, feeling like I was about to burst out into tears. And I just kind of stopped myself and mid-sentence stopped myself. And he looks over at me and he's like, "You okay? What's the matter with you?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just can't say another word for a second. I need a beat because all of a sudden I'm going to lose it." And he's like, "What?" Of course, what did I do? And I'm like, "Nothing. You're fine. You're great.
You breathed.
You're right. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. Don't." So I'm like, "It's not you. It's truly like so cliche. Not you. It was me." And I couldn't tell you what was going on. But oh my God, like just, and you said something a second ago that, and like, drum beats went off in my head. Overstimulated. I am not generally someone who has a very short, like, emotional bandwidth capacity. Usually I'm pretty good. I'll be fine wherever, doing whatever, big crowds, little crowds. And I actually said to Dave today, I'm like, I don't know if I like people anymore. I like Natasha. Like, I love Natasha. I love my mom. Kids are great, but no, as a joke. But the reality is, like, my social battery has gone from what I feel was like one of those
off the charts,
big, like a generator, to like a little teeny AAA battery, and it's not like I could tell you why. And I'm sure that so much of it has to do with the conversation that we're having right now. And you know what? The part of this that I wanted to kind of weave into the conversation and talk about is that this whole notion of like perimenopause, and you said something that connects to this. You talked about how you're like kind of trying to find yourself and figure yourself out and kind of flesh out the best version of yourself, which I think, in all fairness, every single one of us is probably trying to do. But we have to survive all of these other phases and stages. It's not just like the stage of becoming a mom or becoming a wife or getting a job or college or all the phases of your life. It's also navigating what we're like physiologically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally during all of those phases of our lives. And I feel like there's this big grief period that's woven into that. There is a lot of grief because sometimes it just feels so hopeless. You just feel like you're absolutely stuck in this place of my body is not responding the way I'm used to or the way I want it to, and I'm depleted and I'm overstressed and stimulated and my metabolism is for shit and I'm, I've got a poochy belly where I never had a poochy belly, all these things. And so there's an element of grief attached to that version of yourself who didn't have any of these issues before. And now all of a sudden, can't sleep, eating the wrong things, nobody talk to me. You know what I mean? No stamina. Don't touch me, not in the mood, never in the mood. You know what I mean? And that's a lot to come to grips with. And this is what you and I always talk about, which is that you don't always just grieve the person you lost in your life. You can very easily be grieving the version of yourself that you lost in your life. And I feel like for us as women who have these stages that we cycle through, like all the changes when your body is pregnant, all the changes after your body's pregnant, when you become a mom, and what happens when you're nursing, and what happens with what we're talking about, this stage of menopause and all that. It's like every 6 months we're a completely different human being, and we just have to stay with it. We just have to ride the wave.
It is a roller coaster of dumpster fire shit.
Yes.
I'm so tired of it. But at the same time, I don't want it to be like doom and gloom here. We're all on a path here. We're going to go on this journey together to find a better version of ourselves that don't want to punch humans every 5 seconds.
We can punch a few.
I actually picked up a T-shirt a few weeks ago that says, "I hate morning people. Actually, I hate mornings. Also, people."
I love it. That's what I just said. It's like I don't like people anymore.
And I was wearing it out, and I got Sarah. I love your shirt.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
So I was like, okay, so people can relate to this. So I also want to say that, again, in finding this best version of ourselves, I came across this book on the Zon called...
We're calling it that now?
Well, I'm not giving that unless I get a paid partnership.
Okay. All right. Hey, I've got books on Amazon.
I know. Oh, this is true.
Don't screw this up for me.
Okay. On Amazon, doing a lot scrolling as we do on the Zon. And I came across a book. It's called The 5 a.m. Club. And I've
heard of it's been out for a little bit.
Okay, yeah, I just got it. So apparently I'm going to try and get up at 5 a.m. Yes, somebody who I have to be at work. I have a day job. I have to be at work at 7:30. I roll out of bed at like between 6:51 and 6:55. And I'm skirting in there on 2 wheels at the parking lot at 7:27.
You're adorable.
To get clocked in by 7:30.
Yeah, hey, you know how I feel. I've been a morning person forever. My eyes, I'm usually awake way before the 5 a.m. alarm goes off. But let me tell you something. I've been part of the 5 a.m. club for decades. And, I feel like I might be president of the 5 a.m. club because I can't say enough about it. That time to me is sacred. If Dave ever ends up coming downstairs early, which he does, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, I'm about to journal, honey. Like, this is my time. And he's like, whoa. Okay.
Just down here for my coffee.
Right. He's like, I will just take it and I will go back upstairs. Yeah.
I'm glad he recognizes.
He
Way
does.
To go, Dave.
Yeah. Dave's has very self-aware moments. But no, I mean, just the whole idea of having that quietude and having that time. It's so hard to get up. Ask our friend Mel Robbins with her 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get the F out of bed. That's her thing. I do it, Mel. I do it, even though I've been getting up at 5 o'clock forever. It's not easy every time. But once you do it and you've captured that time for yourself, oh, that's like another world.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is, that's the thing too, is like I get books and I'm like, I am so going to read this book.
How's that
Do you know
going
how
for you?
many books are sitting on my nightstand
I can
that I
imagine.
have not read? And I'm a horrible human being because I have not read your book.
That's all right. I still love you. And you confess that to me, and that's okay.
I know. When I told you that, I felt like I had just shot you.
Oh my God. Why?
Because I felt like a horrible human.
You are not.
That I didn't read your book.
No. Let me tell you something. Any author who writes anything more than a vignette or a short story understands and appreciates the fact that when you're writing a book of 200 pages that's 50,000 plus words, like mine happens to be the one you're talking about, it is a very big ask to ask someone to like, hey, it's not like, hey, can you look at this painting that I just painted? It's, hey, can you devote an inordinate amount of time and energy to reading this big old fat body of work that's going to take you hours and hours and hours? So believe me when I tell you, I am the last person who's going to be offended by the fact that you have not read that book. Look, if you got my book on your coffee table, I couldn't be happier.
It's on my nightstand. It's
okay.
It looks at me every night. I see a picture of my dad. I see that book and I'm like, hey, you need to get your life together. Hence why I'm joining the 5 a.m. club.
Okay.
Because also a part of getting older, we needed to like build muscle. Okay.
Yes. Brains.
And so I need to work out. And I am committed to not getting old and frail.
Right.
So I'm going to start by getting up at 6. We're going to start with 6.
Work your way backwards. I like this plan. And you know what? Honestly,
what were you going to say before I interrupted you?
No, it's okay. You really didn't interrupt me. It was just an optical illusion. If you get up at 6, and I do things. Anyone who knows me will laugh when they hear me say this, that very routine oriented person. I've got a system. So every day I get up and I start my day with meditation. That's the first thing that I do. And then I come down and I journal for 5 minutes. And maybe I'll read 5 or 10 minutes or 5 or 10 pages in a book. But it's amazing. You can pick through a book if you pick up and read 2 or 3 or 5 pages at a time. I think so many of us think that we have to do these things like yoga and meditation and reading and journaling, for endless amounts of time. So untrue. If you're getting up at 6 o'clock, read for 10 minutes. You'll eventually finish the book.
Or even start with just 5 pages.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The problem is, and again, if you're this person, I want to hear from you. You'll be like me, who loves to read and will read those 5 pages. And because my brain is not at all dialed into what I'm reading, in spite of how focused I am on it, I will have to read those 5 pages 27 times to know what I actually read. That is the thing. I just had this conversation with our youngest daughter is not a fan of reading, has never been. She's like me in a lot of ways, very physical, likes to be out doing the things. And I was like, well, honey, just read 2 or 3 or 5 pages a day. She's like, Mommy, you don't seem to understand. If I read a page or a paragraph, in order to actually absorb it, I will have to read it 42 times, which basically means like reading 42 pages. He goes, I don't have any time for that. And I don't have the mental capacity for that. And, that's just the reality that we can't retain it. So that's another challenge to add to the whole list of shit that women deal with, is what we're calling our list. The shit we deal with.
Bullshit.
The bullshit that we deal with. Okay. Right. So one other thing that I think is really important, because you and I are both moms and you and I are both wives and you and I both work, is that it cracks me up that we have to deal with all of these changes and these limitations in some ways and these issues while we have, in my case, adult children who still need their mom and dad. And you have younger children who very much need their mom and dad. And we're still doing our jobs and we're still showing up for our people and we're still cooking the meals and we're still that emotional glue for all the people around us who we help support. And yet on the inside, we're like a nuclear bomb that's gone off. And it's just like everything is rubble on the inside. But yet
we're expected to hold it together.
Yes, we are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you feel like you're constantly being rage baited, it's not just you. It's not just you.
I love that expression.
It is. I swear life just rage baits me constantly.
Mm-hmm.
It is the smallest little inconveniences and I swear I'm going to explode or have a complete meltdown.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say here's to, and I'm not expecting HRT to be, be all end all. I know it's going to take, other things. Weight training is not just weight training, but taking care of our bodies in that we're doing strength training, prioritizing protein intake, working on sleep, limiting our alcohol, which, I don't drink too terribly much, but, as we get older, it's like, hey, we need to de-stress after a long, stressful, a long day.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of us come home and it's like just one glass and two glasses and all the things. So
and a whole bottle later. And now all of a sudden that's a whole different issue.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, my thing when I come home at the end of the day, George and I, we share a twisted tea and we share a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had my consultation with the HRT consultation, she's like, did you really put one cigarette a day? I'm like, actually, it's a half. She's like,
I don't even smoke. It's like,
she's like, well, thank you for being honest.
Yeah. I think, you know what? Look, I think that if you're one of those people who has the capacity to self-regulate like that, and that's all you need. I know like my stepdad, if he has a bag of M&Ms, like a single serving bag of M&Ms that most people can just, knock off in a sitting, he'll eat like 5 M&Ms.
5 single bags or 5 M&Ms?
No. 5 M&Ms, like 5 pieces of candy. And he'll satisfy his craving and he's good. He's good. It's like some people can go, like Dave is someone who, we don't gamble, but occasionally because of business, he'll have to go to Vegas and they'll always, Dave, come gamble, come down to the tables. And we've always had this thing where if we ever go there, we'll $100, however long it lasts, we get up, we walk away, had a great time, see you later. It's just the ability to self-regulate and the fact that you can do that with a cigarette, like bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo. It's moderation.
Yep.
It's moderation.
I agree. Yeah. And allowing yourself the grace to be like, you know what, if this is what I need to get through the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's find a little harmless. Yes. Whatever it is harmless as long as it's in moderation.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to point out that, just because we're approaching, I don't know about you, but when I was younger, it was like, oh, menopause, like you're getting so old. I never in a million years thought that at 40 years old, I would still feel like I'm sometimes a teenager. It is all a matter of perspective.
Definitely.
And I'm so grateful that I've reached this age and the wisdom that comes with it, because I don't know about you, but 40-year-old Natasha, if she had this kind of like wisdom in my 20s, I would have fucked some people up.
God, I would have loved to have seen 20-year-old Natasha with 40-year-old Natasha's brain. That would be fantastic.
Oh man, I would have been absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah. You can be whoever you want to be right now. You can be 41-year-old Natasha fucking everybody up.
That's
right now.
Absolutely.
From today on.
I still need my day job.
Yeah, I know. Good point. So as we wrap the conversation, if you're listening today and you are feeling any of the thousands of things that we've talked about women feel during menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, you're not alone. God, we're hugging you right now so hard. You're not alone. It's happening to all of us. Nothing you feel is unusual. Someone somewhere is feeling the same thing. And you know what? You got to advocate for yourself. You deserve answers. You deserve the right to have the right kind of treatment for yourself. So if your doctors aren't prioritizing these things that are happening to you and why they're happening, you make your doctor prioritize these things and these things that are happening to you, and you work together with them. You gotta be your own best advocate and make sure that you're getting, whether it's something like HRT that we're doing, or it's, something homeopathic or something medicinal, like go for it. Do what you need to do to make yourself okay, because it's really, really hard. It's there's, we're not going to sugarcoat it. Like no one's going to blow sunshine up your ass here on this podcast.
That's right.
It is hard. So if this conversation resonated with you in any way, we would love to hear from you. Like, want to hear your story, want to hear the stuff you're struggling with, want to hear the things that you figured out. Like, more importantly, because we're all in this together, and we got to be able to communicate about it, not just to get it off our chest, but to communicate about it, to like work together, to use the things that have been helpful to each other, hopefully making those things helpful to other people. So reach out to us, let us know if you're dealing with the same thing, and we can all just be miserably hot and sleepless together. And it'll be beautiful.
And this isn't the end of womanhood. This is just another transition into our party, into our lives. I heard somebody call it cougar puberty.
Cougar puberty.
I was like, all right. And there's no party, there's no guidebook. We're all just in this together. But the more we talk about it openly, the more we're helping people, and there's more awareness. So I have to say, can you guys do us a favor, those that are listening? If you know a woman, and y'all do, I know you do.
Don't lie.
That you feel like this conversation would be helpful, please share it with them. It would help us out tremendously, and we just want to help the women out there and just let them know that they're not alone on this journey of figuring this bullshit out.
Exactly. And honestly, too, we also want to help the men figure out the women in their lives, because Let me tell you something, if we're not happy, you're not happy either. So we want to hear from you too. So if you hung in this long, we appreciate you, and we'll be back in exactly 1 week to talk about something completely different. I promise. Completely different. Until then, keep surviving. We'll be back.
Take care. Thanks so much for listening and for being part of the survivors community. No matter where you are in your story, you're not alone, and you're definitely not broken. Healing takes time, and it looks different for everyone. The fact that you're still here and still trying means you're already doing the hard work. If something in today's conversation resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it too. That's how we keep these conversations going and remind each other that there's always hope.
And if you or someone you know is struggling, please remember, help is always out there. You can call or text 988 anytime to reach a trained crisis counselor like me. And for more mental health resources, tools, treatment options, and content to support your mental health, visit thehelphub.co. We're so grateful you're part of the Survivors family, and we'll be back next week with another honest conversation about life after the hardest things. Until then, take care of yourself and your people, and keep surviving.